talking about money and money structure and trust and, you know, being a vibrational match to, and you said it's a thought that we have all had as energy beings wanting to help humanity.
Yes, I was talking to them.
Yeah, only if I had millions of dollars, I would be an amazing philanthropist and I would give a lot of money to good causes. This is a thought we've all had, right? Mm-hmm. If only I had millions of dollars, I could do so much good. And then your guide said to you, do you want to say?
Yes, I was complaining. I said, I want to be a philanthropist. And if I'm a philanthropist, I'm going to do so much for people. And they said, well, what makes you think that you're not? And I said, well, what do you mean? And they said, well, since money is an illusion, it's just a piece of paper, but it's also energy field. Replace that energy field with just giving from your heart structure. And they said to me, and what are you exactly doing, Marina? Aren't you not just giving to people and let people decide what they wish to donate or give you? And I said, oh my God. So they said, so you're an energy philanthropist. And I was like so happy. I posted it and I said, oh my God, that's right. Because I realized and they're so clever how to switch things so they can show us the point of view of completely different, I would say more different level of understanding.
Yeah.
You know, and now that
you got to accentuate the positive. Wow, I feel good. A little bit of feel good goes a long way.
You're listening to Karen Swain, teacher of Deliberate Creation, accentuating the positive, showing you a way to a better life.
Accentuating the positive, it's not just fad, it's sanity. Who in their right mind would accentuate anything else?
If you feel like that's what you want to do.
Welcome, hello, welcome to another show, Accentuating the Positive with Karen Swain. I have the gorgeous Marina Jacobi with me today. Now let me just get is it Jacobi or Jacobi?
Jacobi.
Because you're from Bulgaria and we're going to find out a little bit about your story, but it's an extraordinary story. You're all over YouTube. It's wonderful, talking about the quantum structure, which is one of my favorite conversations. I teach this deliberate creation, and I thought if the two of us could get together, we can have a conversation that really explains it in a way that, you know, maybe the penny will drop, because it's easy to chew over this information on an intellectual level, but how to implement it into your life. Now, this is something that's challenging for all of us because we're all living inside a paradigm that's been completely different to what we're going to talk about today. But at the same time, it's easy. You know, we were just talking about setting up this interview, and I've got a whole lot of family running through the house, and I'm thinking, gee, I hope that I'll have a nice quiet space to talk to you. And miraculously, they've all disappeared. I mean, that's beautiful. That's the quantum structure working beautifully. Welcome to the show, Marina.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. We had such a good conversation, very easy going with you to talk to, and I'm so excited to be part of your journey.
I know, it's really interesting. You know, I've seen a couple of things online of you talking about the quantum structure, and it's all very serious and intellectual and kind of hard to understand. And then I connected with you on Skype the other day, and you're so lovely and bubbly and like got this fresh little girl energy, and I'm thinking, oh, you know, that's more like it. That's my kind of gal. Anyway, let's just go into your journey a little bit. You were born in Bulgaria. You said right on the Black Sea. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? What was it like growing up there?
Bulgaria is a beautiful country. It has incredible history. If you go and do research, we had a lot of Asian history and Bulgarian gold. If you go and look at it, one of the best in the world. We were like a second Roman, Sofia, for example, was like a second Roman city, they call it. So I'm proud to be born in Bulgaria. We have a very strong personalities on the top side, you know, but I think that is because of what we built through centuries, depending on wars and history. We are very strong personality people, very passionate, you know, people. And Bulgaria, I was born in the Black Sea, Varna. It's a beautiful, town. Please welcome to visit in Bulgaria. And there was a communist country. Okay, I grew up during communism, and through very young age, you can see how life can be kind of difficult. But I must say, everybody had enough, but it was always kind of a suppression that you would never be able to excel more than a certain amount of whatever you were doing. It was monitored. I've heard like people were disappearing. When I got older, we didn't know that we have camps, in Bulgaria. People were completely unaware. Everything was so monitored. You can't even receive anything out of the country.
What do you mean by camps?
They had camps. I found out. Like camps for people. If you do question the government, people disappeared.
Oh, like concentration camps?
Yes. I mean, I don't know too much about it, but we heard in the news. So I don't want to, say exactly what it was because I never got into that. I was still a child when I just heard from people talking about it. But I know from my grandmother that there were people questioning something and they don't see them again. But overall, we kind of lived okay, but never had more than just to survive.
Wow. And so, you're obviously a galactic being, a star seed that's here to raise consciousness. Your soul hangs out in different dimensions most of the time. You've come to Earth to teach this, to connect to your guides and teach this. And you were obviously really psychic as a kid, and you were doing automatic writing. Was that right?
Yes, my mother introduced me to that.
Yeah, I mean, your mother nurtured that in you, which I love. She was not afraid of your abilities. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, because Bulgarians were very open to this type of things. We had very famous psychics like Baba Vanga, which I ended up having dreams with her. And she was the one actually I had a dream, very vivid dream, that I asked her to let me go, that I want to go to US. And she did something with her hand like that and told me that within 2 years or something. And this is exactly what happened.
We very open. Was Baba Ganga, what's her name? Baba?
Vanga. V-A-N-G-A.
Was she the blind one?
Blind, she was blind.
Mm-hmm. And people used to go and have readings from her, and she would do this.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard about her, yeah.
So she connected with me after she passed away, and we had kind of a telepathic connection, and she was telling me a little bit things. At that time, I had no idea what was happening because I was always writing with loved ones. I was never taking it seriously. We're just for the family and stuff like that. But in 2012, when I was already in America, I came in America in 1993, and I heard, "Hello, Marina, we are the hybrids." And I was writing, and literally I have a picture of them. They look like the grays. And I go, oh gosh, what is that now? And it was very interesting because they start telling me how they see me when I think of something. And I said, what do you mean? So they started introducing me to very interesting concepts of, if you think of something, we see your thoughts as a hologram in front of us. And I go, that's very interesting. So who are you? And they were telling me, well, we are hybrids. We're mixed from you and us. We are race. And I have to mention that I know a lot of people have a different experiences, but our brain does not work more than three-dimensional until you open this type of channels and you're ready to perceive this type of vibrational sequences or connection. Basically like telepathic phone call. And you are guided through your life when you have agreements to connect with these beings through one way or another, through different synchronicities. And this is exactly what happens. So you open for that connection, not afraid of.
Let me ask you, have you got hybrid children?
Funny that I never asked for that.
I know.
I really never asked. That's a very good question.
I won't tell you what I'm getting. I'll let you open to it.
They said funny, it's 3. That's what they said to me. But I was never oh my God, no, now I remember. I know for 2
Mm-hmm.
And they told me it's 3 now. I don't know why they told me 3 now. They were talking to me before 2. And I knew the names. I don't remember the names now. And I made a pictures of them. It was a boy and a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. And I never really connected the gap. I should have, because I was talking to my kids, you have brother and sister. Just Chora, they just said it. Chora is her name. Oh my God, yes, was Chora. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Chora. Her name is Chora.
How exciting. Do you have any conscious memory of being taken to the craft when you were a young? So how?
No.
So you
I was missing.
When you came to the States, when did you come in 2000 and when did you say 1990?
1993.
Were you already married at that point or did you meet your husband?
No, I was not married. I was like not even 20 years old.
Okay.
I was 20 years old when I came in by myself. I had $600 in my pocket. I didn't know English. And I just knew that I just have to go. It was just such a desire to just come in the land of the freedom. And I worked very, very hard. I worked like 24/7 to survive because I was by myself. But I was trained from Bulgaria to really maneuver through difficult situations, because when you're in a country like this, I must say that our young generation is very mature. Bulgarians are very mature. At 18 years old, you're ready to run a business because of the level of the complexity that we went through like a little kid. So when you see a lot in your life, you grow up very quickly. So when I was going through certain situations, I was very aware of what I was doing and which path I wanted to take. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad I took this path.
But I'm seeing that you also have your DNA sequencing is also different to other people. You're also a hybrid yourself.
Yes. First of all, I found out when I went in Bulgaria with my grandparents to vacation, I was literally missing for 6 hours and nobody can find me. Okay. And it was like a big search. And the only thing that I remember that I ended up in end of a peninsula. And I have no memory where I was, what happened. I was just in front of a tent. I walked in a tent. I saw these 2 people, and everybody asked me, and I had no idea. I made up a story that I was going, and some boar was chasing me, all this stuff, because everybody was in incredible panic, because I had no recollection what it was. You literally imagine you have no recollection, and you end up in a section. And you're there and you're just, oh, okay. And you start searching because I didn't know where my grandparents were. I have to find them, So that's what happened at that time. And when I asked a big psychic years later, the only thing my guidance told me that I was taken and I was upgraded. And they never gave me any other explanation for that. And I've learned to sometimes stay back and not really ask too many questions, because through the years of connection with them, they've proven themselves to me over and over again that they're benevolent, because a lot of times I didn't listen what they would tell me. And it always something happened that is going to be exactly the truth of what they were telling me. I will make a decoy and I will end up in some situation, but then I go, oh gosh, if I was listening to them, I wouldn't be in this situation. And slowly I learned and I gained trust in them. And I learned to listen, and follow, because they taught me to detox. Because I had a thyroid issue, and if you watch the videos, Marina Jacobi detox is all there. This is exactly how I was taught. But I also had a lot of knowledge because I had children that went through asthma and stuff like this. So I did everything homeopathic with my kids. Of course, I used some medicine through the years when I had to use hospitals for situations, but I think that modern medicine and homeopathic should be combined together.
I like you, I was into this way before I got married and had children, and studied as a naturopath. And when my daughter got sick, I never took her to the doctor, although my husband did. He loved doctors, but I never took her to the allopathy. I remember once I was feeling guilty because she had an inner ear infection, and everyone says, oh, that's the worst thing you can do. That's the worst thing she could go deaf. And I thought, as a guilty mother, I'm thinking, okay, take her to the doctor. And he gave her a script for antibiotics, and I went outside and tore it up and threw it in the bin. and thought, what am I thinking?
It's a lot of stuff, especially of the new material that the extraterrestrials gave me, which was after the hybrids. I connected with Ra. Ra did a lot of stuff with me through upgrading and teaching me structure. And after Ra was the Pleiadians, and they literally gave me extra advanced extraterrestrial technologies. And it took me like 1 year to put this together, because it was all geometry and all teleportation devices, healing through frequency and sound. And because of all the knowledge that I gave me, I know that anything could be healed through frequency and sound.
Absolutely. But here's what we're dealing with. It's really interesting. You've said this, and I've spoken to, and I'm the same, I've spoken to a lot of people that have had, contracts before they come with their galactic family or their spirit guides to awaken and to teach. But they come in with a really strong human mind, like a really powerful human mind. And it takes a lot for our guides to get through that sort of critical, discerning intellect, because it's actually a powerful intellect. So there's powerful intuitive abilities and psychic abilities, but there's powerful intellect too. And when you marry the two of them, you can bring through this complicated information. And I think that was also for you, because when I laugh when you say, I didn't listen. Like, they're telling me stuff and I didn't listen. I'm kind of like, yep.
No, because it's so out there, and it's so we've been indoctrinated in a different way. So when they tell you something completely different, you don't want to believe it. Because one of the things that they told me when they were teaching me the hologram, and how at the same time you're coexisting in the same parallel realities, and they actually talking to me from one, but they can talk to me in this one too. And they said you're coexisting at the same time, and we're doing a spacecraft, and you already made it. And that right there is just gonna scare you. When I heard that explanation, I kind of quieted down and I said, oh my God, none of the channelers, none of the people nobody's talking about this. And I don't want to say to anybody anything. And I end up finding one of the psychics that end up channeling somebody and said exactly 2 sentences of that. Yeah. And I said, oh my God. So this was exactly the things that I needed to hear, because with me, everything comes through synchronicity. If I don't listen to somebody, I may work with somebody, for example, which happened, they will tell me pull out. And they will not tell me why, because otherwise you're overtaking somebody's energy. But if I don't listen, something's going to happen right in front of my face. So I know exactly what happened. I always end up in a situation.
And I think I want to get back to your story, but I'm just going to go down this trajectory. And I think that with the light workers, this is what's really challenging, because once you sort of latch on to a frequency or a way of being, or a thought or an idea or a different belief structure, let's say, once you expand your consciousness and your reality, you have to go down that. You can't go back. You can't go back to the old way. And I saw you speaking to another interviewer who is trying very hard to live inside, this law of attraction, quantum structure, and have it. But he's still coming from an old paradigm of got to work hard to try and make it happen. And it sort of doesn't happen. When you try and go back to the old way of being, and, this is how everybody on the planet does, this is how I should do it, and things don't work out. It's like you have to surrender to the new way of being. You have to surrender. You have to surrender to allowing the quantum structure or law of attraction or the universe to, you have to be in that vibration and not be in an old vibration.
Well, I think that right now everything is absolutely, fluctuating. And everybody has the right to experience different realities, because sometimes you have to tap in both realities in order to achieve something, since everything is a transition. So of course it's not a judgment upon anybody how they want to implement it, but the truth is that the new vibrations are getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And when you do something like that, you really, really have to be careful how you implement in everything that you do, because then you crystallize in completely different realities of a timeline. Mm-hmm. And that's what they wanted me to understand, because in the beginning, when I came out with all this material, I was, a lot of people don't know that I was connected with a certain scientist to work with, and we almost ended up in a project But it's not about the money. It's not about, how famous you're going to get, because what they said to me is that they've been given just the tip of the iceberg, what is there, because they wanted to see like a testing ground. Who are the people of the channelers, of the people that work in for, the scientific community, or even the people that interview and stuff like this will do the right thing for the name of humanity. Because the new connection now, if you want to have a physical contact, you have to be in a similar vibration consciously with them. Otherwise, it's not going to work, because your body consciousness connection cannot withhold that vibrational sequence. And this is all about levels of different frequencies we talk about. You can experience something else, but it doesn't mean that ascension process to intergalactic will be your timeline, because you didn't crystallize it, or you had the chance but you didn't take the path for it. So in turn, they said you're going to see completely different reality that is emerging for you. Doesn't mean it's going to be bad, but may not be connection with them, because they said that the fame and the glory is not going to be our criteria. And this is the reason why a lot of situations happen. They told me, stay within. And I always check myself when I do stuff. Yes, I may go somewhere, and I may go to webinars, and I may do some stuff if I'm invited. Of course I will do. And if people charging money, that's their livelihood. And especially if they have to pay for some facility, of course I will honor, that. But I would always work in a platform that it taught me from the heart, because I know the structure so well now.
Yeah.
And I want to implement it because I want to see the abundance.
I want to get into this a bit later, but I want to just get back on your story. So you came to the States and you were introduced to your galactic guides. They were introducing to you incrementally. First they said that we're the Greys, and then they said I'm Ra. Is that right?
First was the Grace.
Yeah.
I had maybe a year with the Grace. As soon as I completed
a
1 year.
Uh-huh.
1 year. And this was in 2010.
Right.
Then the Grace was still staying with me. All of a sudden, Ra came in. Ra ended up teaching me, stayed with me maybe a year, and whatever he was teaching me, it was all connected with quantum structure, because they would tell me, okay, listen to this scientist, or listen to that, and all of a sudden I get a fragment of something. And it was a lot of teachings in the quantum levels from this person, from that person. And it was I was like a sponge. I wanted to know, I wanted to see, different things. And in the meantime, they will tell me stuff on top of that. So this was all, and I was listening Carrie Cassidy, what was happening in the government and all this stuff, because I think they needed to, for me to open my eyes to see what it is going on. And it's no judgment. Everybody learning their lessons. So I never want to get in negative structures, because this is all part of consciousness. We have to learn what is negative, what is positive, and combine all that and choose which way we want to go. Consciousness is not judgment. It's simply an energy.
Oh, I'm getting so many tingles in my body right now. My head is tingling here, and I'm getting this funny vibration. Anyway, okay, go on. That was Ra. Hello, Ra.
Yeah, so after him, I end up connecting with the Pleiadians, and then the download for the harmonic reactor advanced technologies came down. And there's a lot of material in there. And after the Pleiadians, I was connected through the Council of Nine. And they're very powerful beings. And then was the 11-dimensional beings. They were more into structures of governments. They would tell me almost like a messages like you cannot withhold humanity and things like that. I have a lot of messages posted from them. And this was all incorporated into, so once in a while, one or the other would just pop out, depending. Mostly it's the Council of Nine, the 11-dimensional beings, they coming in. Ra is also part of my higher self. And is also, they said, if you want to complete something, always tune in, because Ra is very strict, very serious. And then I
heard you say that in another interview, and I was listening to you because I was sort of thinking I should listen to what she says on the other interviews before I chat with you this morning. So I had you playing, and you said very strict, and I said, what's this very strict about? And they said to me, very focused. And they said, this is what they said to me: you human beings have no idea how to focus. You're all over the place. You can't even hold a thought for a few seconds.
It's shifting constantly.
We're always thinking different thoughts, different thought. And they said, you see focus as strict because you have no idea how to hold a thought. And, you know, that's the...
That is very interesting, because the way you said it, when I was with the hybrids, they told me not to go and work in a certain place. I was going to work in a school system because it was fun for me to do something different than that. But they told me to stay home and work with them. I didn't listen. So all of a sudden, there's so many different situations happen to see how women more than 50 years old behaving in a certain way. And I was like a ping pong ball to try to get everybody to get along. And they said to me, you have to stop, because I was getting very upset with what I was seeing with my eyes.
Yes.
And they said, you have to stop because we cannot, and they would tell me, don't say anything or do something. And they said, oh my God, Marina, we cannot control your timeline. We can't see what's happening because you're changing your thoughts so quickly, and we constantly searching what to tell you because they can see ahead,
Yes.
you know, what to tell me, so prevent me from something. And in the end, I ended up quitting literally in 2 months. I quit because I just couldn't take it. And I came home and I was instructed completely not to go and work and to work with them. And I looked like literally lost my mind, because at the same time, my husband had a car accident, my son, something happened, and here we are. And I'm going, everything is fine. We have everything we need. And a lot of people would tell me, you should go and help your family. You should go take a work and stuff like this. In the meantime, you hear, stay home. And I've noticed, and then they start teaching me structure. They start teaching me manifestation. And the truth is, until you put yourself in that position, 100%, you will not be able to implement it 100%.
Yeah.
Because in order for you to manifest and really start using the structure, you have to have a platform that is literally nothing in front of you. So you can start really implementing, because if you were making money, I wasn't going to really try to do something, right? Now I know that this works because I had incredible manifestation situations. And if you watch Marina Jacobi Quantum Manifestation and Marina Jacobi Mobilizing Structures, all that information is there. What happened through the realities with me, and how I because they teach me through the process. I don't have a trance. I can just close my eyes and tune in. And they ask me if it's something very technical to close my eyes so I don't get distracted by whatever. But actuality, it's just the open, downloads, and that's what makes me really do well.
Exactly.
If I make a mistake, it's going to be doom, stop, look what you're doing. And when they explain, they will explain through the quantum structure. So it was so obvious, because once everybody that's starting to learn this material that they presented to us, you cannot make a mistake. The only thing you need to do is to implement it, because it's like a math, it's like a quantum physics, it's metaphysics of what you're made of. You cannot deny the structure.
Yeah.
That's why it's so fundamental, because we can all talk about energy and how beautiful and we're going over there, but how exactly this is implemented, you need to know the buttons. You need to know how this plane is going to take you to a destination without being randomly going somewhere.
Yeah. I want to illustrate what you're talking about with a story, because I think that stories really illustrate. You were talking about, your son got sick and everybody's saying you have no money, you need to go out and work. That happened to me as an energy healer. I was a single mum with a daughter and couldn't pay my bills. I owed thousands and thousands of dollars. And I started to freak out and worry. I've got to get a real job. I've got to get a job to pay the bills, that same sort of worry. And they said to me, don't do that, don't do that. Everyone's saying to me, get a job, get a job, get a job. And they're saying, don't do that, don't do that. Because it's all about vibrational matching. It's all about frequency alignment and matching a similar vibration. So they said, do not look for a job, do not worry, and do not ask anyone for money. This is what they said to me. Do not ask. They said, go to the beach. Go to the beach and have a good time. And I'm thinking, I've got to do something. How am I going to pay my bills? I've got to do something. So my girlfriend rings up. She says, you want to come to the beach? And I'm like, they said, go to the beach. They said, go to the beach. I said, yes. And I started to release all that stress. I just thought, I can't do anything right now. It's a beautiful day. I'm going to the beach. So the two of us go to the beach. And they said, do not ask for money. Do not ask anybody for money, and don't go and look for a job. So she said to me, how's your work going? And I said, I'm learning a very powerful lesson at the moment. My guides are teaching me a very powerful lesson about trust. And she said, are you earning enough money? They said, don't ask for money. I said, you know what? I'm fine. I'm really on a learning curve. And she kept hounding me, and I kept putting her questions off. And she said, I think I just need to give you $5,000. Just like that. And I didn't ask her, and I didn't tell her my situation. And it was an illustration how when you relax and you join a frequency of what you want, because we all want money for security. We want to feel relaxed. We want to feel happy. We want to feel like we can go to the beach when we want to. You know, it's that frequency alignment, that matching of energies. And our ego mind, our third dimensional mind says, I have to do something to change it. I have to make something happen by doing something, by looking in the paper and getting a job or asking someone for money. And that's the quantum structure at work,
well,
right?
They actually, they said, first they came, all of them. And when I was really starting representing this stuff, and they said to me, in no circumstances you're going to ask people for money. You will not take money from people. You will not ask for money. And I said, but wait a minute, how is this happening? So they said, listen, when you starting to vibrate, everything is in the quantum field, different frequencies. Any emotion that you give or even say to somebody, the words are also frequency. They're like a code. So they said this is a condition. Basically, imagine it's a computer, and in that quantum computer, you give a code that you're looking for money, specific amount.
Well, yeah.
Now,
when you ask, it's because you're coming from a frequency of I don't have. So it's
not only I don't have, it's just they said the fact that you gave a condition, the only way for you to have an abundance, because it's a reverse structure, whatever you put out, that's what you get back, basically becomes a condition for people. And once it becomes a condition, you're limiting yourself, and you cannot receive anything. In order for you to really receive everything from the quantum field, you have to leave an open structure and let people decide from their hearts to donate something from their hearts, because then you can perceive everything through synchronicity. Could be money, could be somebody donated a car for you, which happened to me, could be a furnishing which happened through synchronicities. And they said it's an illusion for you to think that you need a piece of paper to manifest something, and yet the money is still part of the structure. So if somebody decided to give you out of their heart, it's okay, as long as you did not put a condition in that person, because you need to leave the structure open even for the people that are the most in need for your services, because then you're rejecting the structure this way.
I want to illustrate this again, because I've seen this work so well and I've seen it not work well. So I have a friend who dresses like a fairy. She calls herself Fairy Sparkle, right? And she goes into hospitals and she builds fairy gardens for the children in hospitals. And she lives your structure in that she doesn't charge. She lives only on donation. She does get sponsorship. So people give her cars, and then they've got to, you've got to write the name of their company on the side of the car. But she lives inside this quantum structure really well. Sometimes she's got no money, she's living out of a car, and sometimes she's put up in 5-star hotels. So she kind of oscillates in and out of abundance, but she doesn't charge a fee. It's all donation based and sponsorship based, right? But I have another friend who also has amazing galactic guides that are also telling her, don't charge for your seminars, just ask for donations. So she came up to Sydney recently and did a sound healing day, and a galactic sound healing day. Beautiful. I said to her, how much would you like people to pay for you? She said, I'd like, $100 to $150. And she didn't say what she wanted. She just said by donation. But people gave her $10, $20, and she didn't cover the cost of flying up to Sydney and staying in a hotel. So you have to be a vibrational match to receive. That's the really important.
Yeah, well,
you have to be able to receive it.
That's right. This is the reason I never start flying around and going to places like that. They told me not to do it at that time. And if somebody did not cover my cost, because I did not want it to go and start asking people for money. Except it's, for example, a facility that is near me. If it's near me, then people don't have to pay a lot of money for that facility. If invited to be a presenter there. So for me, that was important because they said, you just need to grab the vibration of the feeling, they said, that you're talking in front of a lot of people, and how this a lot of people going to come to you, leave everything open. You just do, they said to me, even if it's a one person, you do the best of yourself, because you need to carry the vibration of abundance at all time in order to receive it. Whatever you put out, is that what you get back. That's why for them was so fundamental. Money is part of the structure. Money could lead us to complete free energy technology, because let me put it this way. Right now, we're running on a money structure. Who is going to pay for the infrastructure? For example, we have a free energy. Well, who's going to make the facilities? Somebody that is wealthy has to give that, or the government. You never know how this is going to happen. Still is going to go. Once we have all the infrastructure ready, all of a sudden, you're going to have something that little by little we're going to go without the monetary system. I don't know how it's going to happen. I just know and learn from them to leave all the structure open without putting a condition, money or no money. I go by the flow, and I know that I should just do it from my heart and let everything else happen the way it should be, the way.
But you have to be comfortable with that. You know, if you worry or fear, you're in a vibration that doesn't allow that openness to actually work. And that, you know, I have a friend who became a guru. She used to be a solicitor, and so she was used to receiving a lot of money. She used to be a barrister, and she had a really big wage. And when she became a spiritual guru, she was already in alignment with receiving a lot of money, because she received a lot of money for her third dimensional work. And I remember she told me she used to charge, I don't know, $20 or $25 for groups. And then she stopped charging, and she said, everything is by donation now. And she said, Karen, when I did that, it exploded. And now we have this business, which is like a 7-figure business. Like the money just runs through the ashram.
Yes, I totally agree. Because I must say that I had people that I received $100 for my book. Couple of times people were sending me just a couple of times money. Just they said, we appreciate you so much for what you do, because everything is from your heart, and that's what we value. I had a person that I must have helped like a year ago. I don't even remember. And the guy obviously didn't have any money, didn't pay anything to me, because I'm just there helping. And all of a sudden I'm receiving $200, and he said to me, thank you so much for what you did for me. I've been listening to your videos. You have no idea how much you helped me. This is my gift to you. And guess where the money came? The money came when I literally had no money in my bank account, and I needed to buy probiotic and something else to my child, including $100 bill that one time I got was, again, exactly that moment that I needed a probiotic for my son. And that gentleman, which was actually, believe it or not, Joe Pena, that he has the production company that we're doing, he was one of the people that did something. And he said to me, Marina, you taught me how to give from my heart. With that, I wanted to give you something.
Without
I wanted
conditions.
so much because of what you're presenting. And so that made me, and I was in tears, because that day he was also one of the people that helped me that day literally to pay for my son's stuff. And I said, you have no idea what you did to me. I was crying. Both of these times I was crying. I had a lady that had a dream with my name and came in exactly when my son came out of the hospital. I had another friend, Trish, that is so supportive. He always comes and always sharing and giving and always supporting my work, that came and learned everything. And she helped me through a lot of situations. And I never broadcasted what I was going through in my family for donations, and just came in pouring exactly what I needed. Because for them, I may give an example, if I may. My son, I had to go to the hospital, and sure enough, I'm learning now that I have to stay home. And I look like I lost my mind. I'm going to the store, and we had like $12. And I went bought gluten-free cookies and some other stuff, and I'm in a car, and I'm ready to get in complete depression. And I'm going to myself, oh my God, what am I doing? I look like a crazy woman. My family is suffering, and I'm sitting here talking to, beings, and what am I doing? And immediately when this happened, they said, stop and listen. And they start telling me, and they telepathically, nonstop, was like a 10 minutes conversation. And they would say, Marina, did you just buy for your son the cookies that you wanted? Yes. Did you buy it? Yes. Do you have clothes? Yes, I do. Do you have a car? Yes, I do. Do you have a home? Yes, I do. Are you homeless? And I go, no. What else do you need? literally like that. And they said, listen carefully. If you need, in a quantum structure, everything is available for you. It's an illusion for you to think that you need $1 million in a bank account in order for you to feel secure. Grab the feeling of the security, implemented that right now you have everything you need, and stay with that vibration moment to moment and take an action from that vibration. Because what you need to do, you need to project that vibration sequence into the quantum field in order your next step of hologram to be accordingly to that vibration. So in turn, everything that is coming next will be through synchronicity, that you're going to get exactly what you need when you need it, no less, no more. It doesn't mean it is $1 million or $1. If you need to complete something, there will be a very wealthy person that's going to come in front of you. I know who you are. Here is the money. Build the facility. You know, literally, that's what they told me. And I go, and that's how I've learned to implement all this stuff. And they push me through, you know, like I was like a little kid that they will teach me through the momentums of me being in depression. And they were the ones that took me out of depression, you know, and stuff, because of what was going through with my child when he was sick. And
I know there's nothing worse than having the responsibility of the health of another and then thinking, I have to do it the mainstream way because otherwise I'm being irresponsible mother.
Incredible challenge. It was incredible.
I had the same challenge, but that's what I said. I had the other story. I took the script and I ripped it up and threw it in the bin, and then I, you know, to do something, because we have to do something. We can't just
you have to take an action. Yes.
I went and I got some garlic and I squeezed some garlic because it's a natural antibiotic, right? And I put a little tiny bit of garlic. You know, she got over her illness, but that guilt, oh my God. But, you know, you're so lucky. Humans have such trouble trusting in things that they can't see, you know. So we can't see the future and we can't see energy, you know, like.
Well, there's a very good point that you put out here, because one time I said that I was complaining that I wanted to see them.
Okay.
But there's a different ways they can see you. If I may, you know, give an example with that. I remember I was going in college because I wanted to be a nurse. Then I wanted to go into be a homeopathic doctor. And I was literally in a parking lot, and now we're studying CNA and all these diseases. I was going there to see the professor. But I saw a video that somebody was talking that they saw the extraterrestrials. Now I got upset. How come this person saw the extraterrestrials? I'm talking to them and I don't see them. What is this? This is ridiculous. I don't see anybody. What am I doing? And why am I going to this college anyway? What is happening here? You know, so I'm complaining and fuming in a car that I was upset. And they said, okay. And this was the hybrids. If the hybrids say something, it's going to happen. If they give me a prediction, it's going to happen. That's how the hybrids are. So they said, okay, you want to see it? Yes, I want to see it. And sure enough, I'm saying it, but I don't believe what I say because, you know, I was upset about it. And they said, okay. And I said, all right, I'll see you. They said, when? I said, well, now or, you know, the next day. And I said, well, how do I know it's you? And they said, well, okay, one is going to be with the black shirt and one is going to be with the green shirt. I said, yeah, okay, right. So I'm going into the lobby in college, sitting over there, and of course, looking at everybody, I don't see anything. I go, oh, this is ridiculous. What am I doing? I lost my mind. I'm going downstairs, and my professor now, we're literally sitting in front of the professor, and she's talking diseases and, you know, everything serious stuff we're doing, you know, there. And everybody's writing. And all of a sudden, I'm hearing my colleague that was sitting literally perpendicular to me, and the professor's right across, I'm on a side, and my colleague goes, and my father, it was literally sound like in the middle of a sentence, and my father, we're living in a farm, and my father was telling me that extraterrestrial exists. There's no way with these billions of stars. And the professor goes, I completely agree. I concur that. I was in my bathroom and I was taking a bath and we have a skylight, and what do I see? Spacecraft. At that moment, I don't pay attention because I was writing diseases, you know, I'm so serious, you know, doing stuff. And this conversation continues and continues. And I'm waiting this to stop, you know, but this is not stopping. They continue. And I said, oh my God, I'm lifting up my hand and I'm looking at those two conversations. What do I see? At the moment, I've noticed what was happening. One of them, and I go to myself, oh my God. And what do I see? My classmate was with a green shirt.
Green shirt.
And my professor was black shirt. And I go, holy Marco. You know, at the moment I said that, my classmate turns towards me and say, I gotcha.
Oh.
And I said, oh my God. And then I realized that it's like, and the whole thing, and I also realized that every single classmate of mine was almost like not paying attention. We are the only 3 people that paid attention.
Wow.
And I realized that it's almost like they connecting, they said that they agree with the higher soul of that person, that they can walk in and literally, you know, talking through that person the way you channel, so they can talk to me, because I needed to withhold their consciousness vibration. I can withhold, but not their body yet. So a lot of times when you're talking to, you know, people like this, you may think you're talking to the person, you're talking to extraterrestrial or extra dimensional being.
So if you had in the recess after the class had finished, had a conversation with those 2 beings, they would not remember. I didn't say that.
No, they had no idea what I was talking about. I said it to my classmate because my professor could have think that I completely, you know, lost my mind. She had no idea what I was talking about. Of course, I didn't say, you know, what she did, because she would think like I'm trying to insult her. You don't know, you know, you're talking ETs, you know, but she had no recollection when I said, oh yeah, ETs. And she just looked at me like, didn't say anything. And I said, oh, okay, I didn't know what was happening. But that's how they can connect with you. And this happened to me a couple of times. And a couple of times they interfere when I didn't listen. Literally, they will stop a video, or they told me a couple of times not to appear to some conference, and I didn't listen. And literally, they tried to tape record me 3 times, and 3 times the recording was completely, there was no recording of my voice.
I saw that, you know, I have some friends who have other shows, and I introduced someone who had another YouTube show to another teacher, and that exactly happened to him. They could not get him back online. He came on and just told the very beginning of his story, but they couldn't get him back online. And I said, why did that happen? And it's like the vibrational frequency, the level of teaching that they're doing on that show was different to his level of teaching, and it didn't match up. Like, it didn't align.
It could be a lot of reasons, though, depending on the person, depending on who the people are you're talking. I know that because I had a lot of times situations like this, every time that it has to be something with conspiracy, or somebody wants to ask me something of planet, or it's like a wall right in there and there's no information coming in. They do not want to deal with that because we already know what's going on and stuff. We don't need to go in that. Let everybody learn their lesson and do whatever we learn in the lesson. But now this is the new structure. Learn how to implement it, learn who you are, and move on. It doesn't matter what somebody else was doing. Do not put a judgment, because that person that is doing this stuff is literally a projection of your own holographic consciousness that you're doing. So you're judging yourself, basically.
Exactly. Everyone is me. I want to get back to what we were talking about with energy, and because you said something to me on Skype the other day that I just loved, and I think I'll use it as the
Oh yes.
So, you know, we were talking about money and money structure and trust and, you know, being a vibrational match to, and you said it's a thought that we have all had as energy beings wanting to help humanity.
Yes, I was talking to them.
Yeah, only
if
I had millions of dollars, I would be an amazing philanthropist and I would give a lot of money to good causes. This is a thought we've all had, right? Mm-hmm. If only I had millions of dollars, I could do so much good. And then your guide said to you, do you want to say?
Yes, I was complaining. I said, I want to be a philanthropist. And if I'm a philanthropist, I'm going to do so much for people. And they said, well, what makes you think that you're not? And I said, well, what do you mean? And they said, well, since money is an illusion, it's just a piece of paper, but it's also energy field. Replace that energy field with just giving from your heart structure. And they said to me, and what are you exactly doing, Marina? Aren't you not just giving to people and let people decide what they wish to donate or give you? And I said, oh my God. So they said, so you're an energy philanthropist. And I was like so happy. I posted it and I said, oh my God, that's right. Because I've realized, and they're so clever how to switch things so they can show us the point of view of completely different, I would say more different level of understanding,
Yeah.
you know. And now that I worship them and stuff, you can always say no to whatever you're teaching, but how can you say no to some intelligence like that? I'm a sucker for intelligence. I love intelligence. I love goodness, you know, and stuff like this. So it's cleverness in there that is I want to implement in a good way in my life.
Yeah.
So that was brilliant when they told me. I was excited the whole time.
All of us are
Energy
like being energy philanthropists. You know, we're giving, money is just energy, and we think that if we have a lot of it, we'll give a lot of it. But we've got
replace it.
Infinite amount of energy available, and we can give infinite amount. We're energy philanthropists. You know, this was really well illustrated. Neil Donald Walsh, who wrote The Conversation with God books, was doing a seminar. I must have listened to it online. It was years ago, but I've never forgotten the story. And he was trying to talk about this same, you know, conversation of what you give, you get back. And because this man was complaining he had no money and he had nothing to give and he couldn't give anything because he had nothing to give. And Neil Donald Walsh said, "What do you mean you have nothing to give?" And he said, "I've got nothing to give. I've got no money and I've got no intelligence and I've got nothing to give." And he said, "You know, you can give of yourself. I want you at lunchtime to walk up to everybody in the room and introduce yourself and give them a compliment. Like, just give them a compliment. Give of what you've got. You've got a mind, you've got a heart, give of that." And he said, "I can do that." So at lunchtime, he did that with everyone in the seminar. He went up and he introduced himself and he gave them a compliment. And then after lunch, all the people in the seminar said, "He did so well. How about we pass the hat around and put some money in for him?" And so at the end of the seminar, Neil Donald Walsh presented this man with this hat full of money. And that was a fabulous illustration that when you give of yourself, you know, that energy philanthropist, you give of what you've got, you know, it comes back to you in ways like that. Like,
I've noticed that when people come for sessions, they're relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
And I completely respect the ones that really were very honest with what's happening. And of course, you have people that they brag about their wealth and how good they are, and there is nothing. But what they taught to me in the beginning, I said, "What's going to happen if these people are not giving you anything?" They said, "Listen, if they know that you're still going through the structure, they know that you still have a family. If they decide to use your goodness, if they have, and they decide to use you basically to overtake your energy, that energy goes into them. You've done your job by implementing whatever you want from your heart. But if somebody just come and take over your energy when they know very well that they can distribute to your work by any ways, maybe whatever they can, then that reality of they overtaking somebody's energy is going into their structure, not in yours." That's what
hang on. I'm not really understanding what you're saying. Say that again.
So, for example, somebody comes to me and said, and you know that person knows that they're doing well. They can always distribute something to you.
Oh, and they don't. You mean they kind of get something for free and they don't give back?
Yeah, and they don't, but they brag, you know, how incredible life they have and stuff like that. And I said, "Well, what's going to happen if everybody," they said, "That's an illusion, because you always, when you give, you're always going to have something that somebody is going to support you one way or another. It doesn't have to be only the money, through the structure. Because if one person doesn't give you and use you, they try to overtake your energy, use it, because they said that's a using of energy without exchange, you know, because some of them promise you don't do anything. That stays, they said, in their structure, not in yours. You've done your job. Then you're going to have next person coming in and may give you double. But they said the most important thing is not to have a expectation, and that's the challenge. Sometimes you have an expectation because we're still going through whatever is happening here, and I'm constantly trying to regulate that. But after I must say a couple of shows that I did, that really everything flowed. Was a great interaction with Kevin Moore, nice guy, and really things are floating, everything. I get connected with people like you and like him, and
there was a nice synergy
find you through the structure.
Nice synergy between you and Kevin. There was a real expansion for both of you during that.
Yes, because he took a different perspective. He's trying to implement three-dimensional structure. It was a good question, because some people are not really resonated with what I'm saying, but the good thing is that I liked is that we try to bring the quantum structure, so even the non-believer to see what is there, because you cannot, discard the mathematics, the quantum, and the structure of who you really are. So you can't deny what I say. That's why it was so fundamental to bring abroad.
I just want to get back to what you said. So somebody rips you off, like you give a lot of, because this happened to me, right? I remember I gave away a session, so I charge a decent amount of money for my sessions, and this man came and sat in my house, and he was here for 4 or 5 hours, and I was like really helping him, and he didn't pay me any money, right? And he went off and he implemented everything I said, and his whole entire life changed. He was in the worst place in his life. He'd been very wealthy, very successful, professional, and he'd started to sort of implement a spiritual business, and he lost everything. He lost his wife, he lost his money, his kids hated him. He was so depressed. Anyway, we cleaned him up a bit, and he went off and he got his life back in a new way. And he never recommended me. He never paid me a cent. He never came back. And I held that unfairness energy. Do you know what I mean? That you were talking about, like that, and you're saying that's the important thing, that no matter what somebody does to you to take from you and not give back, you can't hold that energy of unfairness, because that will be put into the quantum field, and then you'll just get that same back. You have to just be grateful.
Maybe from somebody else.
Be grateful, and know that it's an energy exchange, and because he doesn't exchange the energy with you, it'll come back from another way. It'll come back.
Because the quantum field is to infinity probabilities.
That's right.
Thank you so much for your honesty, because there is the truth that sometimes you feel exactly that, when you do so much, and because we're still going through what everybody else is going. So for us, could be a lot more difficult to hold that vibration every single time and not to put a judgment. It's so easy to go. So at the moment I get into just momentums, I try, and I know what I start doing. I start putting a little flower, that this is my gift, thank you. And what happened, literally, I let go, and I literally had like a phone call of somebody, and they donate something, not even 10 minutes later. And I go, see, I shouldn't be judging, because they said, if that person is nothing, I'm not saying to the people that really don't have anything. I'm actually the one to say, what else do you need? But when you have something and we don't exchange, and you're using the person, that's using somebody's energy. So that's why when they asked me, what do you recommend? I said, I'm here to help you. If you wish from your heart for my time, feel free to do so. But and I've learned to constantly do that and push this in front, because if it's not one person, then the other. And so I'm so grateful that I listened to my guidance, because I think I would have gone to really a wrong way about it, totally wrong way about it.
It's not easy to implement. I've been struggling with it, because we have this paradigm that says you put a price on what on your service, and then someone pays you that price. That's the old structure. The new structure is like that limits you. You've got to expand it. Okay, do you want to explain that to people?
That's the money structure. This is how they explained to me. They said if you give a condition to somebody through the money, remember moment to moment to switch into through different parallel realities. So if I give a condition here to somebody, you're starting to vibrate and create a next timeline parallel reality hologram that you're projecting for yourself that is based on that condition. And then you do it again, and you do it again, and all of a sudden you're creating and crystallizing, because you'll be doing it on and on and on, the same vibration, you crystallize in a timeline. But I said, guess what? If you just start giving from the heart, on and on and on, and keep projecting a new hologram and a new hologram from the structure of the heart, you're opening the entire quantum field to give you any type of probability to infinite number what you can perceive. Could be money, could be gifts, could be literally somebody can give you a home, which this happened, by the way. That's a long story for that one. And that is a completely different timeline, and this is completely different timeline. They said, if you want to match the abundance timeline, Marina, be the abundance and implement it so you can see abundance. Which way the abundance is going to come? Could be the extraterrestrials coming doing something. Could be the government all of a sudden. And why is that? Because I end up creating and crystallizing and shifting and making my own reality of ascension, that this is all possible. Your ascension is completely different than mine, depending on the vibrational sequence that you carry moment to moment and projecting the next hologram and the next hologram. Infinite amount of number. That is the difference. And once you know the quantum structure of all that, then it's like a math. And don't say next time, oh, this is impossible. It's all possible. The only thing we need to do is to implement it. And the challenge is into the implementation, how we do
Not
it.
just, I'm getting such a buzz on my crown chakra. It's just buzzing right now. But that's why I keep touching the top of my head. But not just to implement it in an action way, but to implement it in a vibrational way, in a feeling way. And that, we come back to that trust, which is years ago what my guides were teaching me about trust. It's like, let go and trust. Let go, let go, let go. And don't worry, don't worry. Implement the structure and don't worry about it. Let it just do its work and feel easy about it. Feel loving. Feel grateful that you've got the ability to serve people. And don't worry about what's coming back. Just let it work. Just let it work as it's supposed to work.
At the moment, the most difficult part is at the moment you get into that feelings of doubt or sorrow, or exactly, it could be for anything, could be money, could be a person, could be a spouse, anything you think of. That is the moment that you have to really pull out, level everything out, give a gratitude for what you see, and now put a new vibrational sequence of emotion, so you can override the negative emotion with density, because you need the new emotion that comes in to be more potent than the one that you were feeling. So you can do an on and on and on of the heart structure with something positive in order to override it, and now your new hologram to be in a positive. That's what is the
I need you to repeat that. That was really important. You need the new emotion to be, say that again.
When you have, for example, all that video with all the quantum structure is in Marina Jacobi quantum manifestation, and the second video is Marina Jacobi mobilizing structures. Those two videos are fundamental for everybody you have to study it, period.
Mm-hmm.
And the most important thing is, for example, when you see something in front of you, understand that you're projecting this hologram and you're the main character. But when you see something in front of you, that is a location of a sequence that has any type of frequency number that is showing you where you at the quantum field, like a latitude, altitude, and frequency. Yep. Because you have to know where you are in the quantum field in order to continue. If you don't know where you are in the quantum field, you're going to pop out of this reality timeline, and you may end up in a completely different structure. You can even look completely different person, and you don't know what you're doing next. So you need to know that, and you need this hologram imprint so you know your location. Once you know the location, that imprint that is there could be something that is really happening that you don't like, and it doesn't resonate with you. Mm-hmm. The goal with that is to say, I understand where I am. I am a hologram. Mm-hmm. This is just a TV projection, of hologram that I see that I end up projecting from my consciousness. What can I do to make it better? And in order to do that, you have to pull yourself out, and you have to say, I'm a hologram. And now understand with awareness where you at, calculate the entire situation through the understanding that that person could be distressed, but he also is a hologram. So when you pull out, calm yourself down to completely zero. Like you're not giving an emotion and you're not taking emotion. It's just an awareness where you are. Mm-hmm. Because the 0 point is now you pull yourself out of the hologram, whatever you were interacting, and now you want to switch with brand new emotional sequence that will come from the frequency of the heart. That has to be more potent than the other one, because you want to override the negative frequency or the dense frequency with a brand new one that is so strong So to be moment to moment to moment in order to have a positive outcome of the situation that you are in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Seth said years ago, channeled messages, that all your power is in the now. And that means right here, right now, no matter what's happening, no matter what you're feeling, you can shift timelines, shift futures. You can create a new reality, a new timeline, a new future by simply shifting your vibration, by moving up a vibration, by shifting the quantum hologram to a different frequency, a better feeling frequency. And I think...
Since we're talking about the now, how they taught me about the now, because they were saying, no, everything is in the present. And I go later, they go, no, everything is now. And I said, what do you mean? The quantum structure is based on infinite amount of imprints of holographic realities in front of you. Think of it, you stand in front of a big projection of a lot of TVs running at the same time, and you can pinpoint whatever you want, and what's happening is, you can literally look at different realities at the same time, but you have to know how to implement this moment to moment. And why is it flickering? Because if you make a movement of my hand, for example, I can give you a mathematical equation from the speed from point A to point B. But if to that result of this mathematical equation, I put another equation for the movement of our planet, and I get a result. Then to that, if I put the movement of the cluster of the entire universe, all of a sudden the end result of that equation is going to be that you're not moving, you're shifting from one parallel reality to another, to infinite amount of numbers. You're flickering. It's almost like a picture frame, in and out, in and out, in and out all the time. And you're shifting from one reality. But guess what? When you're shifting, this reality has nothing to do with this one. It's completely brand new. You actually teleported and bilocated yourself, because in the middle is a black hole. That particle here has the power of the entire universe. And is also a nanoparticle. Is the infinite, is the smallest, and is the largest particle. This could expand to the largest and goes to the smallest of the smallest. And right in between those two is the 0 point, the stillness. Because with the stillness, that's why it becomes fractal. Time is fractal. From here, you're going in, goes like that, comes back in here, and the new one pops up like this again. That's like a breathing. And right in the middle, in order to breathe again and to exhale again, you have a 0 point stopping in order to get the new energy to come out. And the same thing is happening with the structure. The same thing is happening when you implement in a parallel reality, when you want to shift to. That's why the 0 point has to be there of stillness and awareness. So the next energy that you give from you, by knowing it, now you can control it, you're aware how the structure works. It's implemented with much more bigger potency in order to completely override the negative, the density, and shift to something with a positive outcome.
And, I was having this discussion with another teacher who channeled amazing information from her, dead mother, and then a whole lot of guides kicked in. And she was talking about this, and she was saying, when you do shift to a new reality, you literally can change your past, because as you were looking on that little map that you drew, you said this reality has nothing to do with that reality, and you were talking about the past reality.
By letting go, the only way this can happen when you understand and you letting go. And why is that? Because if you are here, for example, and you have some kind of experience, you carry some kind of a vibrational sequence.
Right.
But if you come here and, for example, somebody did something to you here. And now the next momentum, you created the new hologram of reality. You shift into. But guess what?
Forgiveness.
We were so upset that you end up carrying frequencies, vibrations into this one, like a memory sequence. Well, when you know that is a brand new reality, let go of what that person did, because it has nothing to do with the new one that you just created.
That's right.
Once you do that, you're going to clear out all the accumulated density frequencies there, So all of a sudden, you're going to see people are dropping off, or maybe somebody doesn't exist anymore, or you don't, that person that you really didn't like doesn't call you anymore, or the person simply found another job and moved. It's to infinity of probabilities how that particular person or situation can occur. So you no longer experience dense energies because you end up letting go of all that. Yeah. That's why when somebody did something to you, know that that person that did something to you in the previous hologram has nothing to do. What you're doing is you're imprinting the person by carrying on the vibration. So that's why this person is keep coming into your reality.
Exactly. And the situation and the energy. You know, you're describing the importance of forgiveness, which is one step, but not just I forgive you and let's move on, but actually I'm even grateful for what happened, because then you're shifting.
Oh, yes.
So you're shifting from one frequency to a better frequency, and now you're creating a completely different sequence of probable events. So forgiveness. Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, like you hurt me, you ripped me off, or you left me, or you broke my heart, or whatever.
That is very challenging for people, especially when there's a lot of situation with a lot of properties and money and stuff like that. It's very, very challenging for people to let go, to understand that. And I've helped a couple of people like that had incredible challenging situations, but I went through a situation like this and I did it. And when I tell people, they couldn't believe what I've been through to survive all these challenges. But I think the reason why I had to go through very challenging life is because what right do I have to talk to people and teach to people if I didn't go through the vibration and the experience myself? So that's how you become a master of your reality, when you're really experiencing something, when you really go ahead and share your knowledge with others without being ashamed of what you've been through and make the mistake. Expose your mistakes and cover them with your new knowledge. And that's how you teach people. That's how you become a teacher.
That's right. That's right. We have to do the work.
In my opinion.
In my opinion too, we have to do the work in order to teach the work. That's you know, that's what I find, because there's a lot of people out there and they get into big trouble. You know, they talk about this stuff, but they don't actually live it.
Because it's challenging. It's very challenging. I wouldn't lie about that. I don't know how I did it.
Well, you and I have a mob of beings. You call them the Council of Nine from the 11th dimension. I just call my mob Blissful Beings, because I tell you what, there's so many of them, and then different ones come to talk to me all the time. So they're just one big mob. You know,
I know. Yeah.
It's interesting that you've got, they've never given me direct identification. Like, they haven't pinpointed a location in identity, whether they're from this dimension or that dimension or how many, and I found that very frustrating when I was young, but I've let it go, and I just go, oh, that's just the way it is, you know. But when I hear people, you know, talk to the Palladians or the Council of Nine, I'm thinking, wow, like, that really amazes me. And this is why I think it's so important that all of us get in touch with our guidance, no matter who it is, and our higher self and our higher guidance.
The thought came in that I had to say about, they wanted me to implement how you connect with them. Okay, we're gonna say about that.
Okay, so what I'd like to say is that we've been talking about this giving from the heart, not limiting, not creating conditions by, you know, charging a price or making a condition. This person has to be like this. This job has to be like this. Because when you put a condition on something, you say I want something, and then you put a condition on. You limit the quantum structure, because the quantum structure is infinite. You limit what you can experience. So open your heart, open your mind to infinite possibility, because an infinite possibility. I'm going to put underneath this YouTube video a donation link for Marina, if you would feel like you have benefited from this. And I'm also going to put a donation link for me if you feel like you've benefited from this. So we're just going to put that out there and not limit it, and just let the quantum field do its work.
Yes, well, I want to thank you so much for having me. It was really a pleasure. We had a great time talking.
But just a minute before we close, you said that your guide said they want to tell people how to.
Oh, yes. Okay, the whole thing is that a lot of times we have to understand that they're vibrating in a completely different frequency than ours.
Yep.
And the reason is because it's simply a different timeline of frequency vibration. The reason why you don't see them is because of that. And once we start raising a frequency, it has to be the consciousness and the body at the same time, one unit, because that is the true connections that they're eventually trying to do, so we can withhold their vibration. Okay, but they can come in, they can see you literally for a couple of hours, and you don't have a recollection, because they can bilocate from one reality to another and change timelines depending of what they need to achieve. And you may be with them for literally a couple of hours. They can bring you back 2 minutes, they said, before they even talk to you, and you have no memory of what really happened. And don't take that through a fear. We're not talking about fear. Everything that I'm talking about here is positive. I promote positive. I want positive. And from my talks, is going to be only about benevolent extraterrestrials, interdimensional beings.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how we can connect.
I'm hearing something online.
Between their reality and our reality, we make a third reality. You merge those two realities, but in order to do that, we have to merge our thoughts and our body into one unit. That's why you need to detox, you need to eat proper food, because your structure needs to become more silica, not to be dense with meat and stuff like that, because no matter what it is, you're still killing animals that are very, very intelligent. And we may blame some people that they're doing some stuff, but look what we're doing to the animals. And I've done it too. I've eaten meat and stuff like that. So we have the right and to choose which way we want to go. That's what is being given through consciousness itself. There's no judgment. You're simply gonna see different realities, and if you don't implement this type of things, nobody is judging you here. Simply, you decide to do something else, you can do something else. That's it.
Marina, it's been so beautiful to talk with you today, and I'll have your website underneath the YouTube video, but for those people that are listening just to the audio, do you want to give them your website?
Yes, my website is marinajacobi.com. It's Jacobi. So it's Marina, Marina, Jacobi, Jacobi.com.
And are you going to be talking at any conferences anytime soon?
Yes, I'm doing webinar every second Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, New York. And feel free to join us. It's all based on donations if you wish to. And we're gonna talk structures and whatever comes in next. It's a just open discussion sometimes, and we'll go moment by moment, whatever comes in.
Yeah, so you talk about the quantum structure and how it works. And what I find so fascinating about this work is that I've been teaching law of attraction, deliberate creation for years. And the more I've been teaching it, the more I realize that it's not just about creating money and success. It's actually about creating a new earth. It's about creating a new possibility for humanity. And that's really where I think we need to put our focus in understanding how this works. We understand it on a personal level when we see it, when we get those fascinating, lessons from our guides, like, don't go and find a job and don't ask for money. Just let the quantum.
Oh yeah, that was something.
That's how you see how the quantum structure works. But once we get it on a personal level, then we can bring it out, and we can play with timelines, and we can play with travel, and we can play with teleportation.
It's actually fun. It's actually fun because through the manifestations that happen with me, I've learned to trust the process. And now every single time that something happens, I just pull back. I put like a strength that I know that I have everything I need. I don't know how. And I just take an action towards it. And all of a sudden something happens. Again, this is in quantum manifestation video, Marina Jacobi quantum manifestation.
I think what's so important is not only do we affect change in our own lives, but when we reach a different frequency or a different vibration, when we reach for a different, better feeling thought, or we expand our belief structure, we actually change all of consciousness, because we're all connected. So we don't just change our own lives, we change everybody else's lives as well.
Yes, because it's like they told me it's like a broadcast radio. Literally, you're broadcasting that frequency everywhere, and yet it's an illusion because you are projecting everything in it.
Everything
so you talk to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Blessings to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being on Positive. And we'll step back in and have another chat with you because you're fascinating, and I can just see down your current timeline. There's so much more to come from Marina Jacobi.
Thank you so much.
If you'd like to join us online for our monthly webinars, we discuss deliberate creation and law of attraction and how we can create a new humanity. You know, we're all a part of the shift. It's all about awakening the consciousness of humanity and how you can affect change in your own life and obviously change in the lives of people around you. Just go to karenswain.com/innersanctum and join us online. Thanks again for joining us for another show. Bye for now.
Thanks so much for joining us for another enlightened conversation on Accentuate the Positive. If you would like spiritual guidance from my guides, Blissful Beings, go to karenswain.com for a reading, or to listen to more enlightened thought leaders share their wisdom. Go to the listen page on karenswain.com and choose who you want to listen to. All the podcasts are also available on iTunes. Remember to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, you name it, we're there. Until next time, bye for now.
If you feel like that's what you want,